Act passed in the year 1919. The Rowlatt Act provided enormous power to the British officers or the British police to arrest any Indian and keep him in the prison without trial for how many years?
2 years, sir.
2 years, sir.
Okay. So the people who agitated against the Rowlatt Act, it turned into a very unorganized, very infamous incident of Jallianwala Bagh massacre. That's the example of brutality of the British, how brutal British were, or how cruel British were towards the Indians. Okay. So later we were discussing about Khilafat movement. When we were discussing about Khilafat movement, I told you about World War One. World War One and Two, majorly which two countries were in the enemy field?
Germany and England.
Britain and Germany.
Britain and Germany. Okay. So Germany and Britain were the major enemies, supported by countries like Russia, America, Japan, Italy, France. In World War One, Turkey supported which country? Turkey supported
Sir,
Germany. Turkey supported Germany. And result of World War One, which country won the war?
Britain.
Britain. Britain won the war. So Khilafat movement, I was explaining you that Khilafat movement started basically in Turkey. The Khilafat movement in favor of Khalifa of Turkey, who was removed from the power by the British for supporting Germany in the World War One. In India, Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali brothers, they're popularly known as Ali brothers, they started the Khilafat movement. Okay. So the Khilafat movement was Mahatma Gandhi supported Khilafat movement because he felt that that is very good opportunity to unite Hindus and Muslims. So I explain these topics to you. Okay. And let us move about non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement was the first movement started by Mahatma Gandhi. Non-cooperation movement gained its momentum from 1921 to 1922. Mahatma Gandhi led basically three major type of movements. First one is called as non-cooperation movement. Second, civil disobedience movement. Third, Quit India movement. First non-cooperation movement from 1921 to 1922. Civil disobedience movement, that is Dandi March in 1930. Quit India movement in the year 1942. So three major movements led by Mahatma Gandhi. First, non-cooperation movement. Second, civil disobedience movement. What is the third?
Quit India.
Quit
India
India
movement,
movement.
sir.
So now what you have to understand here, Mahatma Gandhi felt that we cannot fight against the British by taking weapon, because they had a huge defense capabilities. Not only that, Mahatma Gandhi felt that if you are fighting against injustice, then there is no need of weapon, or then there is no requirement of involvement in violence. So, Mahatma Gandhi started his famous movement called non-cooperation movement. So, what is non-cooperation movement? The name itself says that non-cooperation, that means not to cooperate or support the British government. Because Mahatma Gandhi concluded that British could rule India because we we were very cooperative to them, or whenever they asked us to pay the tax, we paid the tax. Whenever they asked us to attend school, colleges, church, this court, or any government jobs, then we helped them. So Mahatma Gandhi felt that British ruled us just because of our cooperation to them. Cooperation means support. So he said that let us not support British. That is called non-cooperation movement. So non-cooperation movement, which includes Swadeshi and boycott movement. What is called boycott? Boycott means not attending. It's called boycott. Bahishkar bolte hain. What they boycotted? Mahatma Gandhi said that let us boycott British goods, because British, they used to sell the British cotton textile industry, cotton textile products in India, because British were producing huge ready-made or cotton garments, and British were selling those cotton textile, cotton clothes in India. Second one, the British used to sell liquor, the British liquor, the foreign liquor in India. So Mahatma Gandhi said that let us boycott foreign goods, or let us boycott the goods supplied by the British in Indian market. When you stop using the British products, then naturally the financial source of the British will naturally come down. So that is called boycott movement. And not only that, Mahatma Gandhi said that the schools, colleges children should not attend schools and colleges. Lawyers, they should boycott the court proceedings. Legislators, or the member of representatives, people's representatives, they should not attend parliament sessions. So Mahatma Gandhi had a series of plan in which Indians were asked to not to support the British in any way. And that led to the very serious impact on the British, because when Mahatma Gandhi asked the Indians not to use the British products, the imports of foreign goods, or the mainly foreign clothes, they fell very drastically between 1922 22.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, boycott movement and Swadeshi movement both are same, sir.
No, boycott movement is boycotting of foreign goods, boycotting of schools, colleges, boycotting of courts. Swadeshi movement means what Mahatma Gandhi started a spinning wheel. No, he said that let us produce the goods in India, but both are connected to each other. Okay. So when non-cooperation movement was in the peak, the one major condition by Mahatma Gandhi, any movement, it should go in a non-violent method. Mahatma Gandhi not supported use of violence, because Mahatma Gandhi said that if you are fighting against injustice, then there is no need of using violence. So Mahatma Gandhi was very particular about not using any kind of violence. But in the year 1922, what happened? in a place called Chauri Chaura. Chauri. Chaura. So in a place called Chauri Chaura, a crowd belongs to Indian National Congress. The protest march was going on in that particular place called Chauri Chaura in the month of February 1922. The angry mob or the people who were participated in the protest march, what they done out of their anger or frustration? They locked a police station near Chauri Chaura and burnt that police station. 22 policemen were killed on that particular day because of the protest led by peasants. Now, the peaceful demonstration led by the peasants turned into violence and resulted in killing of 22 policemen in Chauri Chaura. Now, can you guess what may be the reaction of Mahatma Gandhi?
Sir, he has stopped civil disobedience movement.
Why?
He would stop that movement.
Why?
Sir, they thought
Because
it
he
would
was
break.
against
Because
violence.
he wanted non-violence, but this is violence.
Yeah. So Mahatma Gandhi was not happy with that particular event because Mahatma Gandhi clearly said that if you're fighting against injustice, there is no need of using violence. But a crowd of farmers who set fire to a police station in Chauri Chaura resulted in killing of 22 policemen. That really major reason why Mahatma Gandhi withdrawn non-cooperation movement. So the non-cooperation movement started by Mahatma Gandhi, withdrawn because of a violent incident took place in Chauri Chaura in the year 1922 in the month of
February.
February.
February. Okay. So that is about Chauri Chaura incident. Now, I told you Mahatma Gandhi led three major movements. The first one is non-cooperation movement. Second one is
Civil
Civil
disobedience movement, sir.
disobedience, civil disobedience. The name itself is there in that. Means disobeying the laws passed by the British. Okay, that is called civil disobedience movement. Non-cooperation movement, not to cooperate with the British
British.
government. Okay. Now, the civil disobedience movement Mahatma Gandhi led in the year 1930.
Sir.
Civil disobedience movement or Dandi March or Salt Satyagraha. Salt Satyagraha, civil disobedience movement or Dandi March
Sir,
led by Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1930. 30. Bolo.
sir, Satyagraha and movement both are same, sir.
Satyagraha is not and movement is not. Satyagraha and fasting, they were the two methods followed by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi
Yes.
said that Satyagraha means search for truth. Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
fasting is a method. Because Mahatma Gandhi said that if I want to fight against injustice, I cannot take the help of the people who are not interested to go against participation or forcefully. That's why what Mahatma Gandhi had done, whenever he was arrested and kept in the prison, he stopped eating food. That is called fasting. Okay. And most of the time, Mahatma Gandhi was sitting in front of British officers and he was sitting and doing protest. That is called Satyagraha, where he said that peaceful protest in the name of Satyagraha Why we are protesting? Because we want to search for the truth. That is the reason. So fasting, satyagraha, these were the techniques used by Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, like Sardar, like if you take Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, what is the technique used by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose?
Criticizing the British government.
Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose used the weapons only. He said that
Yes.
Sir.
let
Violence
us
gathered members to
let us organize the young blood in India. तू मुझे खून दो मैं तुझे आजादी दूं.
आजादी दूंगा.
हाँ. He said that let young men and women in India, let us fight against the British. Let us take the weapon. That is the technique of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. What is the technique of Chandrasekhar Azad?
violence.
Chandrasekhar Azad. Tit for tat. Tit for
Yes.
tat. Means if British officer killed any Indian, then let us kill the British officer. That is what Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Khudiram Bose, all these revolutionary leaders. That is so their techniques were different. Okay, so that is what Satyagraha and fasting, the techniques used by Mahatma Gandhi. Now, what happened after Chauri Chaura and before the civil disobedience movement? That is called happenings from 1922 to 1929. You please write this one particular point, that is Chittaranjan Das and Motilal Nehru. Okay, they were not happy because of the withdrawal of non-cooperation movement. Chittaranjan Das started a party called as Swaraj Party. So Chittaranjan Das started a party called Swaraj Party because he wanted to contest for election, and after contesting election, he wanted to be a part of parliament and criticize the British rule, being a member of parliament. One more incident happened in 1925. Mahatma Gandhi felt that in India, women were not actively participating in the freedom movement. So what Gandhiji thought that he requested Sarojini Naidu to lead a one session of Indian National Congress. So in the year 1925, Sarojini Naidu led a session of Indian National Congress. He became the president of Indian National Congress in the year 1925. The purpose of making Sarojini Naidu as a president of Indian National Congress to attract more women to the field of freedom movement. That is one more incident between 1922 to 1929. So one more very important event occurred, that is in the year 1929. In 1929, Congress session was held at Lahore. Congress session was held at Lahore. Session is nothing but meetings. Okay. In Lahore session of Indian National Congress, the Indian National Congress took a decision of fighting for Purna Swaraj or complete independence. Till that they wanted partial freedom. What is called partial freedom means British government will sustain in India or British government will remain in India. Along with the British government, we will have elected members, and the elected members work as a legislators or representatives, and they will give few suggestions to the British government. They may take or may not take. That is called diarchy or dual government. But now Indian National Congress decided that let us not fight for our freedom, but let us fight for Purna Swaraj. Please write down this top point. Indian National Congress, Lahore session, 1929. Decided to fight for Purna Swaraj. Now, the session came to an end on 26 January 1930. Which day India got freedom?
15th August
10th August
1947.
August
1947.
1947.
Which day Indian Constitution was ready?
26th January, sir. 1950.
January
January
1950.
No.
Sir, 19
1949
1949,
December.
sir.
November 1949, sir.
Very good. We celebrate Constitution Day on 26th November. If you see Indian preamble, the preamble of Indian Constitution clearly says that we the people of India, it starts like that, and finally hereby we the members of this Constitution Assembly do hereby enact, adopt and give ourselves this Constitution, that is on the day of 26 November 1949. Clear?
Yes, sir.
But when we celebrate our Republic Day,
January.
January 26.
January, sir.
okay, why 26 January?
Because it was officially
They
declared on
started to
26th.
execute that constitution, sir.
Okay, now why it is 26 January? Because on 26 January 1930, on 26 January 1930, even though we are not attained freedom at that time, but the Indian National Congress Lahore session, which ended on 26 January 1930, decided to fight for what?
Purna
Purna
Swaraj.
Swaraj, sir.
Purna Swaraj.
Purna
So
Swaraj.
to remember that day, we celebrate, we waited up to 26
26
January.
January.
Okay. To remember the day of 26 January, that's the reason why we celebrate that day as Republic Day. For example, when is our school anniversary?
16 September.
September 16. September.
Okay. Do you think on 16 September 1963 the school building was completely ready?
No, sir.
No. But why we decide? Because that is the day where the foundation stone was laid, and as a result, that is the beginning of the Sainik School Bijapur. Like that, Indian National Congress firmly decided to fight for the complete freedom on 26 January 1930. That's the reason why India celebrates Republic Day on 26 January instead of, even though Constitution was ready on which day?
26 November 1949, sir.
November
26 November. Okay.
Sir,
So
here it is
I
given
explained
that
you.
they decided to fight in 1929. Then why they
No,
celebrated on
no,
26 January 1930?
no. That session was started in the month of December 1929. Since session went on a 15 to 20 days long time, because session is nothing but a meeting. So end day of the Congress session was 1930. Beginning day was
Yes,
1929. Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us move to the next major topic, that is Dandi March or the March to Dandi. Hope you know about Dandi March because you were not. You were there when Nukkad Natak was played in our school?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Huh? You were there?
Yes, yes, sir.
You were there in class 6th in amphitheater, outdoor stadium.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Salt Satyagraha, Dandi March in the year 1930. Why it is called Dandi? Because the march or Satyagraha culminated in the place called Dandi, ended in the place called Dandi. Then from where Mahatma Gandhi started his march?
Sabarmati, sir.
Sabarmati Ashram.
Sabarmati Ashram. Okay. So, Dandi March or the Salt Satyagraha led by Mahatma Gandhi to break the salt law. I repeat, to break the salt law. According to the salt law, the state had a monopoly on the manufacture and sale of salt. What is salt law passed by the British? According to
Sir,
the
they have
salt
increased the tax.
passed by the British, no Indians were allowed to produce and sell the salt. And the price of the salt enormously increased. Now, you know very well, salt is one such a commodity which is used by every day by every person, let it be rich, poor, irrespective of economic background. Salt is used by everybody. So, Gandhiji felt that since salt is very close to associated to the emotions of Indians, because there is a quote in Kannada, ತಾಯಿಗಿಂತ ಬಂಧು ಇಲ್ಲ ಉಪ್ಪಿಗಿಂತ ರುಚಿ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You may not get a great person or relative in your life more than your mother
Mother.
or you. Any food, let it be any food, but the real taste of the food only you will get when there is a adequate salt.
Right. Yes, sir.
So Gandhiji decided that is the right time to organize civil disobedience. What do you mean by civil disobedience? Means disobeying the law passed by the British. That's called civil disobedience. So which law was opposed by Mahatma Gandhi here?
Salt loss.
Salt law. Salt law. So Mahatma Gandhi started his march over 240 miles, nearly 320 kilometers. 1.4 kilometers, 1 mile. So Mahatma Gandhi started his movement from Sabarmati Ashram and he wanted to move to coastal place, a town of Dandi. Can you tell me why coastal place? Why Mahatma Gandhi selected coastal place?
The salt is formed from
Because salt is present there only.
Sir, nearby that area, the water contains much amount of salt, sir.
Because preparation of the salt generally done by the saline water or the sea water. So, and Mahatma Gandhi decided to go up to Dandi in a march, means he want to walk nearly 20 to 25 kilometers, 60 kilometers, whatever possible in a day, walk, reach to a village, address to the people, explain about his freedom movement, take the help of or increase the number of supporters and move towards the next destination. So that's how Mahatma Gandhi started Salt March and reached Dandi. It is said that when Mahatma Gandhi started, it was two-digit number with him, but when he reached Dandi, thousands of people were there with him, and he broke the salt law by producing the salt. So Dandi March, led by Mahatma Gandhi, was one major civil disobedience movement which really threatened British. So British immediately called Mahatma Gandhi for round table conference. Okay. Because the British said that British arrested nearly more than 1 lakh Indians at that time who involved in civil disobedience movement in various parts of the country. So Mahatma Gandhi was called by the British for a discussion. That's called Round Table Conference. At that time, Lord Irwin was the Viceroy of India. So Lord Irwin requested Mahatma Gandhi to withdraw the civil disobedience movement. First roundtable conference was a failure, but in second roundtable conference, Gandhiji decided to withdraw the civil disobedience movement with the condition of 11 demands. In that, one demand was release of all the prisoners who were arrested by the British, and the second one, withdrawal of salt law. So the British withdrawn the salt law, and that considered as one of the great success by Mahatma Gandhi in the freedom struggle. Okay, so that is the second movement, that is called Dandi March. Which is the third one?
Quit India
Quit
movement.
India movement, sir.
India, sir. Quit India movement.
What is the difference between Dandi March and Quit India movement? Dandi March is a civil disobedience movement led by Mahatma Gandhi. But Quit India movement, the intensity was very heavy. It considered as an ultimatum to the British to do what?
To go back.
To leave India, sir.
To
Quit
quit
India.
India, to leave India, to quit
Yes, sir.
India.
Leave India.
So the Mahatma Gandhi gave an ultimatum to the British to quit India, and he gave a final call to the Indians or the people who are involved in the freedom struggle, that is do or die. Do or die. That means, my dear Indians, you do means you fight for the freedom, or in the process of fighting for the freedom, you should be ready for ultimate sacrifice or the supreme sacrifice. That is called, we should ready to die in the process of getting freedom. So Mahatma Gandhi gave an ultimatum to the Indians, do or die, and his ultimatum to the British was to quit India. And why Mahatma Gandhi started Quit India movement in the year 1942? Because 1942 was the middle of Second World War. When the World War was started?
1939, sir.
39, sir.
Very good.
1939.
1939. Why Mahatma Gandhi started in the year 1942? In the year 1942, what happened? The British lost their supremacy, because British lost their supremacy in the year 1942 because of the Pearl Harbor incident. Japan attacked on American Pearl Harbor. Japan attacked on American Pearl Harbor, a base where American warships were kept. So till 1942, America was not the part of Second World War. Till 1942, Hitler's Germany was in a victorious stage. But that is the time where Japan committed a blunder of attacking Pearl Harbor and forcing America to enter Second World War. When America entered Second World War in the year 1942, Britain got upper hand because of the America's entry. Now, why Mahatma Gandhi felt that this is the right time to start a Quit India movement? Because British were very busy in fighting the Second World War. Most of the British troops were not there in India at that time. So Gandhiji felt that this is the right time to fight for the freedom, that is Quit India movement. So when Gandhiji's freedom movement was intensified, then what happened? That forced the British government to give a promise to Mahatma Gandhi that India will be given freedom soon after the end of Second World War. So it was promised to Mahatma Gandhi that freedom will be given to India after the end of Second World War. So that is the third and the major movement led by Mahatma Gandhi, that is called Quit India movement,
Quit
the year
India movement.
1952. Okay. Later, the partition of the country in the year cabinet mission and partition of the country, and it led to partition of India and Pakistan. Okay. So that is about this particular chapter, partition of the country, and which led to the birth of a new country called Pakistan. And the problem which was started by the British by partitioning or dividing the country, till today we are suffering, because the division of the country on the basis of religion as India and Pakistan, that is the major revenge taken by the British on us. Because even though British left Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav 75 years over, but still now India is suffering because of partition of India and Pakistan. So this is about that particular chapter. Who was majorly responsible for partition of the country?
Lord Curzon.
No.
So the last viceroy,
Muhammad Ali
Lord
Jinnah.
Mountbatten.
Muhammad Ali
Muhammad
Jinnah,
Ali,
sir.
Muhammad Ali Jinnah was responsible. Okay. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a leader of.
Muslim League.
Very good. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the leader of Muslim League, was majorly responsible because it was his demand to create a separate
Muslim
country
status.
for the Muslims. So East Pakistan and West Pakistan was, the country was divided into East Pakistan and West Pakistan.
West Pakistan.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Please.
Sir, what are the steps taken by the Trusteeship Council of UN on India by British by India, sir?
UN trusteeship council means what? When the Second World War came to an end, there were few territories in Europe. They were captured from the Germany, okay, and other allies like France. And these territories, instead of giving to the original countries, they were kept under UNO. And one of the agency of UNO was Trusteeship Council. Okay. The Trusteeship Council was taking care of those particular areas which were captured by America and Britain during the war. But by 1991, because the Russia, USSR, Soviet Union was collapsed, the Cold War between America and Russia came to an end. Now Trusteeship Council is no more existed because those territories, most of the territories were international, that Geneva Convention के हिसाब से they were all given to their original countries. Okay, this all stopgap arrangement immediately after the war. Actually, this is called war tactics, because what happened now? The country which is lost the war will be punished heavily, and it will be made as if scapegoat करते हैं उसको, and all its resources. Take for example, if you remember, First World War के end के बाद 75% of coal and iron ore deposit of Germany was taken by the Britain. Germany's iron ore, when they taken iron ore, then other coal deposit, naturally the economic resources of that country will go down. So these are the war techniques to make the enemy nation weak, so that the enemy nation won't rebound for few years.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. And League of Nations was formed before Second World War, sir, but still it broke out,
First
sir.
World War. Immediately end of First World War.
Yes, sir. But still two wars broke out, no, sir. It was not powerful at that
What
time, sir.
happened? No. League of Nations was started, but the countries which were there in the League of Nations, like America even England, they themselves were not following the rules and regulations of League of Nations. That's why when Hitler came to power in in Germany in the year 1933, he withdrawn the Russia from the League of Nations. Germany from the League of Nations. Why League of Nations was a failure? Because League of Nations own members were not following the rules and regulations. Why UN was successful? Because all the members of UNO, United Nations Organization, they are by and large following the rules and regulations. That's the reason why UNO is better success than the League of Nations. Why League of Nations was failure? That's why we faced the Second World War. Okay,
Sir, I have a doubt.
please ask.
Sir, these freedom fighters didn't have any profession, sir. So how they funded these movements and all?
They had a profession, and most of the freedom fight was funded by the industrialist, Indian industrialist, because
Yes, sir.
Indian industrialists were getting profit by promotion of Swadeshi and all those movements.
Yes.
Not funded like today's funding. Okay, today's funding is very heavy. Okay, then we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.